been waiting too long. Church guys like sports too. Before I can sing my song. Ain't that right, D-right? New York got the we're playing basketball. Go Knicks. I've been waiting too long. Church guys like sports too. Before I can sing my song. Ain't that right, D-right? New York got the bright lights. Big city of dreams and the nightlife. It's the concrete jungle and we know it. That's why it's cool to scream New York Knicks. 1973 was the last year. We brought a championship ring here. Lift your hands, Knicks fans. You now have a right to go buck in the stands. Knicks, we here. Keep your head up. New York Knicks, this is your year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Church Guys Like Sports. Tell somebody we here, we back.
Hope for a win even though we still lost. Shout out to Coach Tibbs and KP. Not the unicorn, but the man from Kentucky. Got Julius playing like a North Star. He the truth and ain't no stopping, no top. IQ, gonna have to guard and going crazy. Every night the kid never cease to amaze me. K-Knox, he work around the clock. Keep going, little bro, you gon' get your shot. Gotta make you know well at the 5. Throw it up, Peyton, and watch out for the lies. Oh no, I can't forget my boy Ty. Then went and got D-Rose. Here, high five.
Where all the Knicks fans at? I need to see all the Knicks fans at.
In New York City, Bullock and Burke, to be continue. Get it meant to be. Keep throwing up the threes. He Rick James, a super freak with the J. Real name Ro, but we gon' stick to RJ. I know you didn't think that I forgot to mention. My boy go hard off the bench.
Sister Rosalie, we back. The Knicks are back on fire. It's been a long time coming.
Change came. New York Knicks.
Welcome to Church Guys Like Sports. Listen, I need y'all to get everybody you can. I need all the Knicks fans on here right now. We need all the Knicks fans. New York, I need y'all to make some noise. I need the Knicks. We done won 8 games in a row. Woo! We done won 8 games in a row. See, when we was bad, people wanted to talk real bad about us. They wanted to be nasty. They wanted to dog us out. And I've been telling y'all for some years that I've been telling y'all all this year, this going to be our year. I've been saying it. I've been proclaiming it. I kept the faith. I kept the faith. And here we are. Here we are, number 4 in the East. And you see, I know I got some Golden State fans, Golden State Warriors with the mighty Stephen Curry. They're number 10 in the West. LeBron James and the mighty Lakers are number 5 or 6 in the West. And the New York Knicks all the way up to number 4. I need all the New York Knicks fans to be proud. And we ain't taking on no, I show y'all yesterday, my wife finally came to her senses. My wife is now a Knicks fan. And in case y'all don't know, I don't have her tied up somewhere making her do that stuff. I did bribe her. But she is now a New York Knicks fan. And all of y'all that been running from this, stop running from it. Come on home to New York. If you're going to live here, I told my wife, if you're going to live here in New York, you got to be a Knicks fan. If you're going to live here, yeah, she was threatened. And all of y'all, if you got a husband, you ought to be a fan of whoever your husband team is. And that was the problem with Tina Turner. Ike Turner he liked the Raiders, but Tina Turner, she liked the 49ers. And he said, you better get it right. I don't know if she ever got it right or not. But if you gonna be living in New York, breathing our New York air, you need to be a Knicks fan. And all these Brooklyn Nets folks coming out of nowhere. When is the last time, matter of fact, when have the Nets ever won a championship? Whether it be Brooklyn or New Jersey in the NBA. When? Never. I got a feeling because this New York Knicks team is different. We don't play like these other boys out here. All that soft flopping and crying and baby basketball. We play real grown man basketball here in New York. And when we get into the playoff, I said when we get into the playoffs, you know what's going to happen? Playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. Playoff basketball is all about defense. And do you know who the number one defensive team in the league is? It's the Knicks. We already playing playoff basketball right now. There's only 3 teams ahead of us. That's Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. We ain't got to worry about one of them. One of them going to knock off each other. But I think the Knicks can take the Brooklyn Nets. All we got to do is chase Kevin Durant around with a brush, and he'll go running for his life. We don't know when James Harden coming back. So the Knicks got the Nets already, in my eyes. And Joel Embiid, he doing all this nice stuff in the regular season. For all your Philadelphia 76er fans, he doing all this nice stuff in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he starts crying and acting like a baby. And then you got that Greek freak boy. He never shows up in the playoffs. They ain't never even got to the NBA Finals. I ain't worried about Milwaukee. It's the New York Knicks. And for all of y'all that are LeBron James fans, that is your king. Let me tell you what your king said, and I quote, the NBA is better when the Knicks are good. You see, a couple of years ago, he was playing us. He was on the side of the bench throwing water bottles up, playing the water bottle game. They taking us serious now. A couple of years ago, he didn't want to come here. He wanted to go down to Miami. Ain't nobody worried about the Miami Heat. Ain't nobody worried about no doggone Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler gonna run out of gas. He need a haircut too. And they went and got that Victor Oladipo, and he got hurt soon as he put the uniform on. I can't wait. I hope we play Miami so we can beat up on them. The Knicks been beating up on Miami since the years of P.J. Brown and Charlie Ward had a fight. Don't nobody want none of these New York Knicks. And now LeBron talking about, the NBA is better when the Knicks are good. Don't try to do that little sweet talk. Don't try to sweet talk us now, LeBron. We not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We not going to fall for it. Don't try to use your sweet talk on us. Because I bet you LeBron want to come to the Knicks now, but we don't want you and we don't need you. We don't want to be bothered with no LeBron. The Knicks don't need nobody. We got Julius Randle, and I want to see some MVP votes for Julius Randle. No other player has an impact on his team like he has on the Knicks. Julius Randle is an MVP candidate. He's an MVP candidate. Because you can't put Kevin Durant there because he ain't played long enough. He hardly played this year. Yes, she is a Knicks fan. Lady G is a Knicks fan. I got the video to prove it. And you can't give the only person that might get the MVP is Jokic, Nikolio Jokic, but we can't give the NBA MVP to a Russian. We got to give it to an American. And Tibbs, Coach Tom Thibodeau is the coach of the year. He is the coach of the year. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody else. He's the coach of the year. He took the same team. This is basically the same players Fizdale had last year. So let me tell y'all, and I listen, I'm all for black coaches. I think black coaches deserve a chance. But when we had David Fizdale for them 2 years, I'm going to say this. David Fizdale can't coach his way out of a paper bag. These are the same players Tibbs had, the Fizdale had last year. So not all of, we got some great black coaches. Mark Jackson is out there. Nate McMillan is out there. So many, Doc Rivers is out there. But not all black coaches are good. And I'm saying it right here. I'm saying it right here on Church Guys Like Sport. David Fizdale was not a good coach. He got all that, everybody got all that hoopla because he was down there in Miami when he was on the coaching staff when they won the championship. Just because you on the staff, that don't make you a coach. I heard David Fizdale was the one that went and got the donuts, bagels, and coffee. That don't mean you need a head coaching job. Derek Fisher wasn't no good coach. And we finally went, the last time we had a good coach was Mike Woodson. And he took us to the playoffs. And shout out to Mike Woodson. He got the coaching job for Indiana Hoosiers. And then we got Tom Thibodeau. And look what the Knicks are doing with coaching. I don't want to hear nothing about no ownership. James Dolan need to stay out the way like he been staying. He ain't even coming to the games. Wherever he is, stay over there. We got this. Leon Rose and World Wide West, they are turning the Knicks around. This boy, Emmanuel Quickly, he's the rookie of the year. Derrick Rose, an MVP, former MVP, the youngest MVP ever. He got his mojo back. And Nerlens Noel, I don't know if I'm watching Nerlens Noel or Dikembe Mutombo. I've never seen nobody block shots like this. And we doing all this without Mitchell Robinson. Can you imagine when that high flyer gets back? And R.J. Barrett, they laughed. They talked about R.J. Barrett. They said he wasn't no Zion Williamson. They said he wasn't no John Morant. But who's laughing now? R.J. Barrett is balling. Balling! And I'm going to give y'all 7 days. All of y'all Brooklyn Net fans, I'm going to give you 7 days to get your mind right and come back to the Knicks. It's an open door for 7 days. After them 7 days, we shutting the Knicks door. No more fans are going to be allowed. Zion Williamson wants to come to New York. Did y'all hear about that? After we whipped on him, you see, that's when you know you're good. We beat his tail. We beat him in overtime. And then he get in the press conference and say, oh, I wouldn't mind playing for the Knicks. Oh, I wouldn't mind being in New York. I love it here. You see, this is the Mecca. New York is the Mecca of basketball. This is where everybody wants to play. And I hope when we get to the NBA Finals, I hope we play the Lakers. You know why? Because in the Finals, the Knicks got the Lakers number. We know how to beat them in the Finals. I can prove it to you. Not too long ago, a few years ago, the Knicks beat the Lakers in the Finals twice. Just a couple of years ago, a few years ago. 1970 and 1973. The Knicks beat the Lakers in the finals in 1970. Then they beat the Lakers in the finals in 1973. And everybody think, Brooklyn is the major market. Brooklyn is nice. I love Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. There's no place like Brooklyn. But New York City is the capital of the world. New York City is the capital of the world. You go in another country, they don't know nothing about Wichita. They don't know nothing about Utah. They don't know nothing about Nebraska. All they know is New York City. That's why them terrorists wanted to attack New York, because they ain't nowhere else to go. Me don't know nothing. The Twin Tower. Hit the Twin Tower. Hit the Twin Tower. Hit the Twin Tower. That's all they know is New York. They ain't talking about hit the Sears Tower in Chicago. They ain't talking about hit the Capitol building in Los Angeles, the Hollywood sign in the woods on the mountaintop. All they know is New York, because New York is where it's at. And you ought to be proud to be a Knicks fan. I'm proud to be a Knicks fan. And if you black, you definitely ought to be a Knicks fan, because back in the 80s, there was a horrible racial thing going on in the NBA, and they called the New York Knicks was one of the only, it was an all-black team. The New York Knicks was all black. And you know what they had the nerve to call us? They called us the Knickerbockers. Because if you don't know, the real name of the Knicks is the Knickerbockers. But them racist white folks called us Knickerbockers. Yeah, they did. And right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Knicks right now are the only all-black team in the NBA right now. We ain't got no white people on our team. And if you not a Knicks fan, you're a racist. I said it. This is the Wakanda team. Look at these Knicks players. Look at their hair. Reggie Bullock, you see that hair? That's Wakanda hair. Nerlens Noel, you see that hair? That's Wakanda hair. Look at Derrick Rose braids. That's Wakanda braids. Look at Julius Randle's braids. That's Zamunda braids. And if you not a Knicks fan, you are turning against the black culture. We talk about Black Lives Matter. Well, black basketball matters. I'm stay on this for a little while, because if you're a Knicks, ain't no white players on our team. See, you go out there with the Lakers, they got that, they got that, what kind of hair? Ted Morris. Oh, you go out there with the Lakers, they got that Caruso boy. He white. Yeah, I know his hair look funny, but it's our culture. You go to Africa, you got folks walk around with hair like that all day. The women. Well, actually in Africa, the women are bald and the men got that hair. I don't know what kind of hair or what kind of hair, but it's representing our culture. That's what it is. And you ought to be proud to be a Knicks fan. I'm proud. You go out there with the Brooklyn Nets, they got that Joe Harris. He's a white boy. We ain't got no white boys on our team. Ain't no white boys on this team. And if you're not a Knicks fan, you're going against the black culture. What other team in the NBA ain't got no white players but the Knicks? And this is why they called us the Niggerbockers back in the early 80s. See, you got to do your history. That's why I'm an avid Knicks fan, because the white man couldn't stand us. And we don't need the white man to win a championship. Not on the court. So I'm going to give you 7 days to come back to the Knicks. We done won 8 in a row. I don't think we ever going to lose again. We might not lose again for the rest of the year. 8 wins in a row. They say I'm black and I'm proud. I'm a Knick and I'm proud. I'm a Knick fan and I'm proud. And all, especially y'all that was born and raised in New York, you ought to know better. Some of y'all work in Manhattan. You ought to know better. How you gonna ride the A train? Don't you know that the A train, and I know some of you ride the A train, I've seen you on there. The A train is a symbol of New York. Yes, it is. The A train is a symbol of New York. And I don't know how you can ride the A train and not be a Knicks fan. I don't know how you can ride the A train and don't love the New York Knicks. I don't know how you can ride the A train and not be a New York Knicks fan. This the A train. I don't know how you can ride the A train and not be a Knicks fan. How can explain that to me? It's a symbol of New York. And the Knicks are going to the finals this year. I'm so hyped, y'all. I'm so excited about the Knicks. I might preach a whole bunch of sermons just on the Knicks. So I don't want to stay just on that. You ride the A train, you ought to be a Knicks fan. Yeah, let that marinate in your spirit. This is a Knicks town, and it will always be. And all this Barclays Center stuff. And what's that stuff on the top of the Barclays Center? It look like old grass. What is that? Shoot. All right. And again, LeBron James wants to come and Zion Williams wants to come. But we don't need him and we don't want him. Now, let me talk about baseball. Well, let me stay on basketball because there was an AAU game and I was highly embarrassed. There was an AAU game the other day and these parents and coaches got so mad at the referee, they actually had a fight with the referee. And one of the parents body slammed the referee. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the girls' team. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the girls' team because one of the girls went to go beating up the referee. That's why you got to be careful with that AAU stuff. They need to have armed police with rubber bullets at the AAU. AAU games are serious. They ain't playing no games over there. They for real about what they know. And if you want to support the New York Knicks Foundation, you can put something in the Cash App. It's down at the bottom. So I hope nobody go to jail over that. But that AAU game, they made a bad call. What if they started fighting referees in the NBA? Woo! That'll be a mess. Now let's talk some baseball. I'm going to switch gears here. I'm going to switch it up because I am also, you see, blue and orange runs deep in my veins. I'm also a New York Mets fan. And I know I got a lot of Yankee fans on here, and and I know people go hard for the Yankees, but let me tell you, this year, the Yankees suck. The Yankees ain't doing nothing this year. But you know who's balling? First place in the NL East? The New York Mets. And I told you at the beginning of the year, the New York Mets are going to win the World Series. The Yankees are horrible this year. And you know why the Yankees are horrible? Because of that doggone Jennifer Lopez. I'll tell you what she done did. She broke up with A-Rod, and now Jennifer Lopez is dating Aaron Judge. You can't do that. You can't cause all that bad blood amongst players. I know A-Rod is retired, but he's a legend. And that J-Lo is messing stuff up. See what? And you take their game away. These ladies. I think some of these folks, some of these players don't need to even be dating until the season is over. Because that's what happened to Carmelo Anthony. Kevin Garnett said his wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios, and all of a sudden, Carmelo Anthony could not play basketball no more. He forgot how to shoot. And then she all in the movies doing all that nasty stuff with the 50 Cent fella. And it took his mind off of basketball. Y'all remember Carmelo couldn't hardly dribble the ball because he's sitting there watching his wife Layla on that show The Power and couldn't hardly dribble no more, couldn't shoot. And then Kevin Garnett and his mean self going to talk about his wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. Loose hair. Leave that stuff off the field. And now Aaron Judge got this stuff going on with Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez out here making breakup videos. He all hurt and all this stuff. Listen, somebody don't want to be with you. Let them go, Alex A-Rod. You got $580 million. You go find you somebody. Matter of fact, Alex Rodriguez, you go over on what's that? Grand Concourse. I know a lot of Spanish ladies that show you a nice time. Go over on Grand Concourse over there where they be selling them plantains and stuff. Now, a lot of ladies show you nice time, Alex Rodriguez. Forget Jenny from the block. But shout out to my New York Mets. The New York Mets are tearing up the league. They are killing. So this is the Mets year and the Knicks year, and I want to thank you for joining us for Church Guys Like Sports too. Look, listen, I've been off for the last few days because I've been we've been dealing with my brother Dwayne. My brother Dwayne is doing better. He's still yet in the hospital, but he's going in the right direction. They waiting for some levels to get together, and I thank God for his healing in advance. God gonna heal him completely. He's still in the hospital out there in Nashville, Tennessee. He's been in the hospital for a week. Today makes a week him being in the hospital, but God is healing him. He's out of ICU, so I thank God for that. All right, listen. Let's keep our country in prayer. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Somebody else just got shot in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. So let's keep all that in prayer. And listen, at 2 p.m., from 2 to 4, I want you to go to this. Write it down. If you at your job and you need some strength to get it's Friday. It's the last day of the week. And you need some strength to get through the rest of the day. I want you to tune in to BelieveRadioBayArea.com. BelieveRadioBayArea.com, and you gonna see my show, Vintage Inspirations, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. playing the best in gospel music. We love the Knicks, y'all. Peace out. You can love God and love sports. Much love. Dave Wright.
He the truth and ain't no stopping no time. IQ gonna have to guard and going crazy. Every night the kid never ceased to amaze me. K-Knox, he work around the clock. Keep going, little bro, you gon' get your shot. Gotta let you know well at the 5. Throw it up, Peyton, and watch out for the lies. Oh no, I can't forget my boy Todd. Then went and got D-Rose, yeah, high five. Leon Rose and West getting busy. We need a job.